What's up, sports bettors? Matt here with OddsJam. Got an awesome player prop for you guys for Thursday night football between the Browns and the Steelers. Kind of a gross game that we have going on, but still profitable betting opportunities to find. Of course, for me, I hopped on the OddsJam positive EV page, specifically filtered for player props because that's what I knew I wanted to bet. And I had two plays show up here. So one, I've actually already locked in on an earlier video on this YouTube channel. So if you want my general betting preview for this game, make sure to check that out. I locked in this Mitchell Trubisky over 12.5 rushing yards. Looks like there is one more play here. Nick Chubb under 79.5 rushing yards. Admittedly, nerve-wracking for football reasons, which I will get into, but pretty cool how we can find this one just using the OddsJam filters. You can filter by league, which I have NFL, filter by market, which I already showed you for player prop, minimum, maximum odds. You can filter by market with just really cool stuff, all on OddsJam using the positive expected value page. So for positive EV betting, kind of how it works is, to back up a little bit, the definition of positive EV betting is when you are placing bets that you know have a greater likelihood of occurring than the reflected odds that you are betting at. So this basically means that we know that this bet is more likely to occur than the reflected odds that we're betting it at, in this case, plus 114 on Caesars. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in on Caesars. It is going to be a half unit play for me. Nick Chubb under 79.5 rushing yards. So the first question you're going to ask is, how do you know that this bet has a better chance of occurring than the reflected odds? What does that mean? The way it works is OddsJam has just collected thousands and thousands of data points, different markets, different sports books, odds, which bet ended up winning, all that stuff. And from this has back tested and calculated which books are the sharpest in terms of how they price odds, which books do the best job at pricing odds. Once those books are identified, OddsJam created basically a weighted average to calculate what the all those different sharp books would have a play priced at with the VIG removed. And that last part is very important. The VIG is the reason why it's so difficult to make money sports betting. It's because sportsbooks like Caesars, like DraftKings, like FanDuel, price up odds to make their money. That's literally how they make their money. They price up odds. So if we look at a game, like I'll go back to NFL, football, NFL. If we look at a game, you see a lot, minus 110, minus 110, minus 110. What this means is that if there are two different bettors, so let's say I like the Steelers at plus 4.5. I'm going to bet $100 on the Steelers at plus 4.5. I bet $100. If that bet wins, I will profit roughly $90.91, basically $91. If someone else bets $100 on the Browns minus 4.5, obviously only one of those bets can win. So the Steelers side won, which means the person who bet $100 on the Browns minus 4.5 lost. That means I profited $90. The Browns bettor lost $100, and Caesars makes $10. So you multiply that $10 by a lot more money, a lot more bets, and you can see why Caesars has so much money when they can sponsor the Manning brothers. So in order to get an accurate representation of what the sportsbooks truly view a market at with the VIG removed, you have to do that last part. You have to remove the VIG, which is exactly what OddsJam does here. So for this Nick Chubb play, they price this at roughly plus 102, the no VIG odds. The OddsJam no VIG odds prices this at plus 102. And we locked it in on Caesars at plus 114, right? We see this open bet, Nick Chubb under 79.5 rushing yards, plus 114 on Caesars. So that gap between the plus 102 and the plus 114 is where you get your positive expected value from. So to bring me back to my original point about betting on plays that we know have a higher likelihood of occurring than the odds of the sportsbook. So if you click this calculator here, it gives you your win percentage. So right now it calculates basically the OddsJam line with all this information says that this bet should hit 49.5% of the time, 49.44% of the time. But the reflected odds of plus 114, if you go to calculators, odds converter calculator, you type in the bet plus 114, that has an implied probability of 46.73%, which means that if you place 10,000 bets at plus 114 odds, you would need to win 46.73% of the time in order to break even. Any amount you win above 46.73%, so 46.74 and above, you will be profitable. Any number above this amount, you will be profitable. Well, we know, thanks to OddsJam and all these sharp sports books, that this should hit at a 49.44% of the time, above 46.73. And that's where you get your positive expected value, which is cool that it tells you exactly how much your EV percent is. In this case, 5.8%. This can also be viewed as your mathematical profit margin. Basically, this means that for every $100 bet on this play, you could figure to profit $5.80. I bet $50, so my actual dollar form of profit in this play is $2.90. I know your first question or your first point is going to be, that doesn't sound like a lot. And you're right. The things you need to keep in mind are that this is only one bet and this profit will be realized on Thursday. So between these two player props, I bet both of them that 5.8% EV has now turned into 6.8% EV. There are going to be more bets posted. There's also, this is only one game on an NFL Sunday. How many bets would you say you're placing? 10, 15, 20, 25? So you multiply this 5.8, this 1.08 by your bankroll, by however many bets you're placing, and you start to see just how profitable it can be in the long run. So overall, positive EV betting, very fruitful. So let me add this play to my bet tracker. And I actually do like this one for football reasons, the Nick Chubb under 79.5 rushing yards. Now, he's gone over this in his only 2 games so far this year. But look at the teams they've played. They played the Panthers in week 1. They were winning the entire game. They just ran Chubb into the ground. He's a good player. Week 2, again, they played the Jets, another bad team. They were also winning the entire time, running Chubb into the ground. In this game, they are 4.5-point favorites, but the Steelers have a significantly better defense than both the Panthers and the Browns. So I don't think Chubb is going to have as much success on the ground as he had in those first 2 games. I also don't think they're going to be running quite as much because I don't project both of these games I don't project this game to be a blowout at any point like the last 2 were. Now, obviously, they did lose the last one, giving up 13 points in the last minute 30. They did almost lose week 1 to the Panthers, giving up 17 points in the fourth quarter. But those games were blowouts more often than not as the game went on, which is not likely to be the case on Thursday night. So all in all, Chubb under 79.5 rushing yards, I do like. It is going to be my official player prop, my favorite bet, favorite player prop for this game. And that's it. So appreciate you guys watching and have a good one.